All four members of the Japanese girl group Cosmosy declared themselves part of K-pop's sixth generation upon their debut on Deck 31. As a Japanese agency-produced group adopting the K-pop style and targeting the Korean market, their claim has reignited discussions on the classification of K-pop generations. Even before the concept of the fifth generation has been firmly established, the industry now faces the arrival of the so-called sixth generation. The emergence of K-pop is often traced back to the debut of SM Entertainment's boy group H.O.T. in 1996. The industry evolved through its second generation, marked by groups like TVXQ, Big Bang, and Girls' Generation, and entered its third generation after Psy's 2012 global success with Gangnam Style, producing worldwide stars like EXO, BTS, and Blackpink. Industry experts largely agree that the fourth generation began with the major shift brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Groups such as aespa, who debuted in November 2020, alongside LE SSERAFIM and New Jeans, led what is now considered a girl group renaissance. Some argue that the fourth generation actually began around 2018, as generational transitions are not always clearly defined by a single moment. The term, fifth generation, first emerged when CJENM's subsidiary Wake One debuted the boy group Zero Bass One in 2023, formed through the audition program, Boys Planet. At the time, the agency distinguished the group by highlighting its direct interaction with fans, in contrast to the restrictions imposed during the pandemic. This shift challenged the conventional understanding that each K-pop generation lasts about 7 to 8 years, introducing a new generation in just 3 years. Since then, groups such as BOYNEXTDOOR, TWS, and RIIZE, along with girl groups ILLIT, Baby Monster, and Kiss of Life, have often been labeled as fifth generation. Multicultural identity with fourth and fifth generation boundaries still unclear, Cosmosy has now proclaimed the arrival of the sixth generation just a year and a half later. Their agency, NTT Docomo Studio Live, said, "Technically, they are a 2025 debut group, and we used the term, sixth generation, to emphasize their distinct identity from fifth-generation groups." They pointed to Cosmosy's hybrid worldview, blending late 1990s aesthetics with Gen Z and Alpha General sensibilities, as well as the broader trend of multinational groups embracing diverse cultural influences. As generational shifts have accelerated since the third generation, some argue that the very concept of generational distinctions is losing significance. The emergence of the term 3.5 generation for groups debuting between the third and fourth generations, and the classification of some fourth generation acts as 4.5 generation further illustrates the blurred lines. Some even claim that because fifth-generation groups share many traits with fourth-generation ones, distinguishing between them may be unnecessary. Music critic Kim Do-hyun said, "Post-pandemic groups are characterized more by individual producers' artistic direction than by their agencies. They tend to favor everyday, relatable messages over elaborate world building, which is why many believe the fourth generation is still ongoing." This article from the Hankook Ilbo, a sister publication of the Korea Times, is translated by a generative AI and edited by the Korea Times.